there, your people are dying,
telling you
you're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
All right, so get this. The title of the article we're diving into today is Trump Humiliates Zelensky in the White House, a political drama.
Wow, right off the bat, humiliates. That's a bold statement.
It is. And, that's exactly why we chose it for today's deep dive.
It really makes you wonder about the meeting itself. Like, what actually happened between Trump and Zelensky that would warrant such a loaded title?
Exactly. And how does this one meeting reflect on the larger relationship between the U.S. and Ukraine, especially with everything going on back then?
Yeah, it's important to remember the context. Ukraine was, and still is, facing that constant threat from Russia.
Right, and relying heavily on support from the U.S.
Exactly. So you can imagine the kind of power dynamic at play when Zelensky walks into the White House to meet with Trump.
So the article claims that Zelensky felt pressured and even belittled by Trump during this meeting. But why?
Well, imagine going into a meeting knowing the other person has a lot of influence over decisions that directly impact your country's survival.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of pressure. But the article also suggests that Trump might have actually used this power dynamic to his advantage.
Right, and leveraging is the key word here. Like, did Trump use the U.S.'s position as a major provider of aid to maybe extract something from Zelensky?
Okay, so kind of like, I'll give you this loan, but only if you do me this favor.
Exactly. And while the article doesn't explicitly say what Trump might have asked for, it strongly hints that it was politically motivated.
Politically motivated, meaning maybe something to do with investigations into Trump's political rivals.
That's the implication. And this is where things get really, really interesting, because this very meeting ended up becoming a focal point in Trump's first impeachment.
Whoa, wait, so this wasn't just some casual meeting? This had serious consequences.
Oh, absolutely. It became a key part of the argument that Trump was abusing his presidential power for personal gain on the international stage.
Okay, so to recap, we've got this meeting, Zelensky potentially feeling the pressure of the situation, and Trump possibly leveraging U.S. aid for political favors. And on top of that, the article paints the whole thing as humiliating for Zelensky.
Right, and this is where cultural context comes in. Different cultures have different ways of communicating, and what might seem aggressive or inappropriate in one culture could be totally normal in another.
Oh, that's a good point. So even though the article emphasizes humiliation, it's possible that certain actions or words were interpreted differently depending on the cultural perspective.
Exactly, and that's why it's so important to consider different viewpoints. Don't just rely on this one article. Seek out U.S. sources, Ukrainian sources, see how they each portray this meeting.
Absolutely. So big picture, this meeting between Trump and Zelensky, it was about way more than just those two guys in a room. It had huge implications for U.S. Ukraine relations, U.S. politics, even international perceptions.
Totally, and it shows how a single event can have ripple effects that you might not even imagine at the time. It really makes you think about the power of these interactions.
It really does. So for everyone listening, here's a question to ponder. Could the cultural differences between the U.S. and Ukraine have actually played a role in how this meeting unfolded? Were things misconstrued? Or taken out of context? Do some digging on your own, check out some Ukrainian sources, and see what you find. You might be surprised.